Hello, in today's video we're going to create this cute illustration. I'm going to show you all the references and the brushes in the description below. You can download it and follow along. So at first what I'm trying to do is I'm recreating the rough sketch, the forms that I see, her shapes, her head, her eyes, and so on and so on. It's not necessary at this point to go into the details because the details can drag our attention and therefore we will not be able to see the whole picture. So just try not to go into too much of details, but just give it a form. As you can see, I'm just drawing a head and the hand that was in the end not really needed in this illustration because I decided to just delete it. The reference is very different from my outcome, and this is how I usually like to do. I just get inspired from something that I see and I try to recreate it in my own understanding, how I see it in my personal style. Here I drew the lines of the eyes. This is exactly how the skull is in reality, but it's good to identify the depth of the eyes so I can draw it in the best way possible. So I'm drawing the eyes here, just trying to make it look a little bit deeper than it is, because this girl is European, so European looking style, so she needs to have like big eyes, and I'm just trying to dramatize the eyes a little bit more because this is what I like to do. I love when the eyes are very expressive, and I also love to draw big lips. This is just what I love to do, I guess. Again, rough forms. After finishing the rough sketch, I'm trying to add some more details. The hairstyle, her hair is just similar to the reference and similar to my hair as well, so this is how it goes. I decided to delete the image of a hand because I just thought that it doesn't really fit with the whole idea. So I'm just now turning the opacity down so I can create another layer. Sometimes I love to flip my iPad because it gives me a more comfortable way to paint those lines when it comes especially to painting the brows or the eyes, so feel free to also doing the same with your iPad. You have to do everything for yourself to make it more comfortable. I myself having like a difficult time with getting used to the new iPad that I have. My first iPad was iPad 2018, 6th generation as I remember, and I was having Apple Pencil of 1st generation. To be honest, I really enjoyed that one more than the new 2nd generation Apple Pencil. I don't know exactly why. I guess I just got used to the feeling of heaviness of that Apple Pencil, and the next generation is just so different and so new, and sometimes my lines are not that perfect, but I'm still working on it. So after I did some detalization work for my eyes, I'm moving to the lashes, and I'm making it bigger on purpose because I just love how it looks. And at this point I am correcting some of the parts. The brows looking not really that great as I suppose, so I'm kind of fixing it, and I believe this tool is called plastic. So I'm trying to put some more details on the nose as well. And now it comes to painting the lips. As you can see, some of the edges of the lips I really do not paint so thickly because it gives this sketchy feeling, sketchy vibe. Usually it's better to paint the oval of the face in the beginning, but as you can see, I just didn't do that in the beginning, so now I'm trying to fix it with the tool called plastic. As soon as I fix it, I'm moving to the ears. Ears are really cute. Me myself, I have very small ears, so I'm trying to do the same with her. And now I quickly paint the hair. The hairstyle is just the same as on the picture. And I like those edges when the hair are kind of, you can see the brushy texture on the hair, like it's a little bit messy, but it still looks good. So the next thing that I'm doing, trying to think about the accents of the light shading, where to make it better. At the same time, looking at the reference and trying to figure out how I want the head to look like and the hair, the top part of the hair. As you can tell, this is my first video of this type, and I'm not really super comfortable about it. I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone, but I decided to make this little tutorial because many people would love to try this PROCRRATE app and see that it's not difficult at all. It just takes some practice, and the more you practice, the better it gets. And I'm deciding to add some little stars on her cheeks because it looks cute, and I love cute things. At this point, you already see that I'm flipping the image just to make it more symmetrical, because some parts are getting really invisible, especially if you're painting and you're not really going to get a water, or if you're not really standing up to just change your environment. Because when you look at something for a really long time, it just gets normal at a certain point, so you are not able to see your mistakes eventually, and that's why I'm doing it. At this point, I'm using another brushy texture because I was about to make some background, and this is the background I decided to do. There's just some doodles on it. I love when the illustration looks vibrant, it looks bright, at the same time it has this texture like it's been sketched or something like that. But in the end, I still didn't come up with this design because I decided to change it anyway. And this is what is important when you are about to find your personal style. You just go through constant errors and trials and experiments, and this is what helps it to become your reality at some point. Maybe after trying several times, you will really understand that, okay, this is working for you and this tool is not really working for you, so you will change, you will maybe create your own tools or come up with some other ideas. So it's always good to experiment, even if in the end you will not really use the same outcome. It just comes as you move, I guess. Because imagine if I would be just not doing anything at all, it would be difficult for me to find my personal style, just trying to kind of like think through it in my head. But while in the practice, you're practicing, and therefore you're able to exactly see how exact tool or image or pattern or light or composition or sketch is really working for you. So I guess the best answer for finding your personal style is just to paint as much as you can, so that in the end your style will come to you naturally. And moreover, I would like to say that you already probably have your personal style, but you just don't know about it because it is waiting for you to explore it. And that's exactly what I was doing. I tried to paint as much as I could. I mean, my English is still not so perfect, I guess. I hope it's not really bothering. I'm trying my best to get into this atmosphere where I really talk out loud, and I'm doing something which is really not so typical for me. And I decided to paint the brows with some blue color. I usually do not do that because blue brows, they kind of look strange, I suppose. But as I said, you want to practice as much as you can, so I'm trying to even practice these things that would be not really super common in the rest of the art society, I suppose. or maybe I just watched Avatar too much and now I just want to paint blue things everywhere around me. And to paint the face, I'm using this tool. I'm color dropping the area that I selected. I couldn't do it for several times because I think something went wrong, but then I figured out what was the mistake. So now I'm moving to the shading. Shading usually is fun because you just look at the reference, how it goes, and where you see the depth, then you can shade it. For example, the nose, the eye area, under the lips, or the skull itself. Those are the ears, for example, the ears, because they are kind of located at the farther perspective than the face itself, for example, than the nose. So I guess that's what helps me to direct myself when it comes to shading, but I really do not really enjoy shading so much as I enjoy some other parts of the illustration, such as sketching, but it's okay. Sometimes we have to do the things we don't really like in order to get to the finished result. But I love the lips, I love the color of the lips. Now I'm deciding to paint the cheeks with those sketches of a star. And what I'm using here is I'm using this special technique. In the section of the layer where you can choose the filter for your layer, I usually use, for adding some highlights, I use the filter called Add. So when you open the layers, it will show you a little A near the tick. Alright, I hope I explained it well. I'm still struggling to find some new words because when I usually paint I don't really talk, and it's a little bit interesting how to combine talking while processing the whole painting through my mind, but I think I will get used to that eventually. And I'm moving to the teeth. It's also important to show the depth of the teeth, that some parts of the mouth are really not so shown, so I'm just deciding to use black paint for that. Now, after finishing the whole illustration, I'm trying to come up with the background. So for the background, I really love glitters. I think I will never get enough of them, so I decided to use that glitter section that I have in my paintings. And of course, I already said that you can find those brushes in the description below. I already uploaded it, so you can safely use it in your own paintings. This is the glitter that I came up with, and this is how my personal style started forming. I am changing the background according to my own feelings, the way I feel, and I believe that magic exists, so I love that vibrant, magical, mystical feeling that this background is giving, and I'm trying to see what kind of color would be really amazing. And I loved how red color was fitting in the whole illustration, but I decided not to make it way too bright, and I'm changing the opacity of it a little bit. So feel free to always change the things that you don't really like, because this is how you eventually become better at your personal style. And I'm trying to just erase the things that I don't really like in this illustration, erasing the excessive background of the red color, trying to balance it a little bit, and in the end, this is it. My illustration is now ready.